Yeah, this is Bang Bang My Hill. Please like and subscribe. Press the like button and subscribe. Yeah, I was talking the other day about a geezer called Brian Cox. Brian Cox is a famous actor and a very good friend of mine. He liked my sister a lot. My sisters have horses, and Brian's, he loved my sister, mate. And I'm gutted really because we lost all contact. And when I read a book about Brian, like an autobiography sort of thing, he never mentioned Jimmy Tibbet at all. I don't know why. He never mentioned all them sort of people, but like, come on, Brian, you know what I mean, mate? You are what you are. You can't go like try and make out you're something different to what you are, yeah. You made it, mate. So don't forget your mates. You know what I mean? Jimmy Tibbet was your pal, mate. You know what I mean? The same as Paul Moriarty. Paul Moriarty is an actor. Paul Moriarty off of Razors and Longer Friday. You remember Paul Moriarty? And like Johnny Old, Davey Old, all that little firm. He was wrapped around us all as well as Eddie Richardson. I remember he was talking to Eddie and Gypsy Charm and that little firm. Terry Coombs, Terry Shot. I remember you all talking to that little firm, and yet nothing's in the book. You know what I mean? It's a bit, a bit upsetting really, because Jimmy really liked you. And when I met you, I met you in Lewisham with Jimmy. Remember I met you in a spill. We was in a spill in Catford, sorry. We was in a spill in Catford, and me and Jimmy went upstairs, collected some money. You remember that? And you come up with us? You must remember that, Brian. Anyway, yeah, I'll tell you a story about you. So Brian was in the car, and me and Jimmy went upstairs, collected some money, and had a bit of a row with someone. I threw someone down the staircase, and young Jimmy keeps talking to me about that. He said, my dad told me when he got with the guy and he chucked him on the banister way. About 3 stories. No, I said, it weren't 3 stories, it was 1 story actually. But yeah, the guy owed money and he had to pay it, and that's the way, and that's, as an enforcer, he had to be done that way, you know what I mean? So in the end, his brothers paid the money, yeah? They had a jewellery shop and they had to pay the money. Anyway, yeah, Brian Cox, he wasn't like he is now. He wasn't as big as what he is now. I think he had a bad leg. I'm sure he had a car accident. I'm quite sure, but he had a bit of a bad leg, a bit of a bad limp. He wasn't so big then. Maybe what, 13 stone. What's he now? 15, 17 stone, something like that. He wasn't so big, but it was a nice geezer. I like Brian. You know what I mean? He liked me, and he's the one who gave me the name. Well, what happened? I had a couple of shows down at not the Rainbow, down at Harvey Social Club, Woolwich. And Brian Cox come to the shows, and they started to say, "God, that geezer can half hit, mate. He can hit with either hand, Look at him banging, bang, bang." And also Brian Cox went, "Yes, that's the name for Ray." He was one of who made the record, Call for Cats. Call for Cats. That was my record when I was going down, Call for Cats, and then Brian Cox called it Bang Bang, Bang Bang Ray Hill. And yeah, Bang Bang Ray Hill, and he still sort of like stayed with me really. He also called me another name, but this name I won't say because it might get me a little bit of trouble. But yeah, we got on really well, me and Brian. I liked him a lot. He stood by me and he stood bow for me. I was in a little bit of trouble over an fault, hit someone with a baseball bat, and he stood bow for me, Brian. Fair play to you, mate. And I didn't even know. I was in Brixton. I would say, open the door, get your gear packed, you got bow. That's a nice fella, mate. Brian Cox stood bow for me. Bet it's through Jimmy Tibbet that he did. Brian Cox used to come quite a few of my shows, and he liked being around me because I was a big lump, you know what I mean? I was a big lump, and I wouldn't frighten no one. We used to go on all the clubs, and I never used to say nothing, very quiet in the clubs. But any aggro, mate, I was like 100%. But Jimmy never got no aggro. No one wanted to outrow with Jimmy Tibbet, mate. At that stage, Jimmy was like a proper man, proper gangster. And he had bad people right around him at the time. He had Eddie Richardson. And also, Jimmy was very close with Harry Hayward and Billy Hayward, very close, because I used to go down there half an hour quite a lot with Jim. I've been down there a couple of times, also with the other fella, so I was just looking at it with a bit nosy. I've been there a few times with Brian Cox. Has come down to there, half an hour in. But I can't make out Brian, we was so close, Brian. you know, and he just disappeared. And I think it's because he disappeared because he was. They wanted him for this. I think it was Born Identity that maybe brought him forward a bit. I'm not quite sure if it was a Born Identity that brought him forward, being what he was in there. And he's done a few more things. I think it was in a thing called Troy. Yeah, I think he was the king in Troy with Brad Pitt. I mean, he's done loads of films. I mean, his son's also a director and a producer. And Brian, he's a director and a producer. I would love to get Brian on my book, in my book, you know, just have a little talk, you know, just come down, have a chat, and you know, say how it was, you know what I mean? Even do a podcast on him, but he wouldn't do that. I mean, you know, it's changed, isn't it? I mean, sometimes that little bit of something changes you. I don't know, does it? I mean, I was a millionaire myself twice, and it never changed me, mate. And I become worse. I think I become worse. I think I become worse when I had so much money. Yeah, you know what I mean? Getting on the crack. But I'll tell you what, I've got to say something. My place was beautiful. I spent a lot of money in my place. And down to Mickey Gooch, who sold me plenty of stuff. Mickey sold me some beautiful Ming pots and Ming vases and big saucers with stands and all that sort of thing, and beautiful pictures. He sold me that. I bought some nice pictures out of Harrods, yeah? Some big pictures out of Harrods. I spent a lot of money, you know. I had a lot of money, but who cares, you know what I mean? And I had two big bronze figures, one of Samurai swordsman and one of Samurai's archerman, you know, on big horses. The horses were like as big as normal horses, yeah? With his Samurai swordsman on top and a Samurai guy with a bow and arrow. My front was absolutely massive, and we had to get it in by crane. They took the whole window out, and got it in. Yeah, I'm telling you, a bit of a chat, me, you know what I mean? A bit of a chat, you've got to watch me, right? Anyway, yeah, it was nice, but I'm sorry Jimmy wasn't about when I had that. Jimmy was before that, you know. Me and Jimmy got in before that, and in the 70s, and you know, I mean, I was fighting 79 up to what, 83. I had quite a few fights, and people keep saying, where's your fight? Show it, don't believe you. Well, you know, like, you haven't got to believe me, mate. I know I am. A lot of people have seen me fight. I've got a big thing acting tunnel. I had 3 fights acting tunnel. That's nothing, you know. I'm trying to get, as I said, my old mate Kevin Paddock. I boxed them both, Kevin and Sid, good fighters. One fought Lenny and beat Lenny, and one fought and he lost to Roy Shaw. But I'm not quite sure Sid Paddock could beat Lenny. But there's a few beat Lenny. I mean, Lenny was good. He was big, powerful, dangerous looking, and all that, and growled and all that. But it was like everybody, mate. They can all get hurt, you know. And boxing, mate, and fighting, you know. Everybody can get hurt fighting, mate. It's what it's all about. And one thing, I wasn't a coward, and I give as good as I got, and sometimes I give a lot more than I got. You know what I mean? And one thing I had, and Brian Cox, see that? Bang, bang. I could hit with left hand or right hand and knock people out of my jabs. That's what it's doing. Jab people have knocked them out, mate. I mean, my left hook is unbelievable. When I hit you with a left hook, mate, it's good night, big time Charlie Potatoes. That's a good thing, that big night. I like big time Charlie Potatoes. Nice, isn't it? You know what I mean? And, you know, Brian, for Brian to stand bail for me, you know, it meant a lot for Brian to do that. You know what I mean? It meant a lot to me when he done it. You know, I really liked Brian. I liked him so much. You know, and I liked all the actors, all the equity actors. I mean, I was a bit silly. Jimmy did tell me to get into it. I think Columbo, Steve Riches, was in it as well. I'm not quite sure. Steve should have been in it. He's a proper man. Steve Riches, Columbo. I loved him, Steve. I liked him a lot. I mean, I've had a few rounds with Steve Columbo, and good fighter, mate. Good fight. He could hurt you, and it was quite very, very hard to hurt. You know what I mean? A couple of times I've hurt him around the ribs, a few little hooks bumped to the body, and it's them. Do you know what people don't realise? It's usually the hit whacks to the body that do you. You know, a lot of these fighters don't do no floor work. They do them a little bit, a few leg raises here, you know, you've got to do the lot, mate. You know, and I was big around the belly, but I used to do lots of sit-ups, loads and loads of sit-ups. I carried my weight on my belly, always carried my weight on my belly. I don't know what it was. I think I had something sort of a hernia in my belly, and my belly wasn't sort of like it was always very tight, very tight. The obliques were muscular. The front of it was very muscular, but I had a bulge there, and doctors did tell me that it could be my abs, it could have been my abdominals, where I've split them, doing too many crunches and all that. I mean, come on, that was like, oh, bloody hell, that was quite some time ago I was doing those, you know what I mean? And when you think of some of these people do big sit-ups with lots of weights behind the neck and all that, and they're the ones going, you know, going for twists and all that, you know. And I never could do that. But anyway, it's not about what I'd been up to. It's about Brian Cox. There must be someone that gets on my podcast that can be able to get out of Brian Cox, maybe. I don't know. I know he's in America, which they all go to America. You know, and I mean, I'd love to get hold of Brian Cox. I'd love him to get in my book. I'd love that, you know. I mean, I'd love even to get him, if I could get him on a podcast, it'd be fantastic, you know what I mean? Because that shuts some people's mouths up, you know what I mean? Brian's seen me fight a few times, Brian Cox, and as I said, he loved me, and he called me Bang Bang, and Call for Cats, and I love that Call for Cats record, you know. Even when I hear it today, it's the business, you know what I mean? And I used to, because I had a sponsor, the Red Lion. I think it was in Blackheath. I think, Blackheath, Red Lion, and the guy sponsored me in the Red Lion, bought me all my boxing stuff. And when I used to go in the Red Lion, believe me, mate, and I go in there like on a Friday night. Believe me, a lot of people shut up. Yeah, there'd be a lot of people shut up. There's nothing special, but you know, I mean, to be what I was then. You know what I mean, bang bang, and I was knocking them all over, mate. I was banging them all over left and right. They didn't come back for it anymore. I'd love to be able to get, mate, see, in them times, really, I mean, there's only people like Frankie Warren and Vic Andretti, and who else is there? You've got Alex Steen. You know, Alex Steen was with Joe Pyle. Them people, at that time, they had all the cameras and the videos and all that, you know. We never had all that. I never had all that with Jimmy Tibbet. We was just fighting. But Frankie Warren pushed his cousin, which is Lenny McLean, pushed him through by taking pictures and all that. He looked a lot better, you know. Same as Alex Steen with Roy Shaw and Joe Pyle, done the exact same thing. I mean, I remember seeing Joe Pyle, Alex Steen, when I was down my mate's place in Twickenham, in Woolies, and also been to Joe Pyle's pub, and he had the ring there with my mate Mickey Francis. And I always knew I never ever knew what happened to Mickey Francis. I know that someone said that Joe Pyle had jumped with him. Mickey just disappeared. I mean, he was living in Fulham. Me and him went down to see Joe Pyle a couple of times. I also see Joe Pyle in the club I was looking after. But Mickey Francis just disappeared. I don't know if Mickey Francis ever watched my podcast, but if you are, Mick, drop me a line, mate. Mickey Francis is a pain in the butt. I mean, I was looking after a wine bar, and he started chucking. he started bullying, chucking people up for no reason, and called me Penny Bagwell. Yeah, I mean, I was there to get rid of all these people who was just buying one bottle of wine, and it was lasting from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So the governor, Ken Edwards, wanted me to get them out of there, and I did slowly but surely. I got them out. I said, listen, this is like, you know, you can buy one bottle, but you can't be chatting for hours with one empty bottle outside. You know, people who want to come and sit down, people who want to come in the bar, and you're just taking that room. So, you know, and it worked. I wasn't rude. I was very polite. I wasn't a bully. All the club doors I worked in, I was never a bully. I just done what I had to do. And you do what you got to do, ain't you? And you know, straight away, if there's aggro, and I don't get hold of him around the neck, mate, and all that crap, I'll just hit him on the chin. That's all I used to do, hit him on the chin. And it's a fight, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just hit him on the chin, put him on the arse. and then drag them out. You know, there's no point to try. Listen, sometimes, you know, I mean, when you're doing kids, you can talk to them, but when you're doing big people, men don't really want to talk to you. They want to fight with you. So, you know, I mean, after a while spending on the door, club door, you get to really understand that, you know what I mean? Kids maybe will come back later with a shotgun or big bayonet or something, trying to stab it to death or shoot it to death, but very rarely. But it's usually the men, the guys, the big guys that want to fight you, and it's what it is, isn't it? It's a fight. You know, I didn't mind that. That was my game, fighting. I've been hit in the face 1,000 times, so I'm sure a little bit more would hurt. Anyway, this is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please press the like button and subscribe. I had a few people complaining about the podcast I've done this morning, saying, oh, it's not all this and not all that. But listen, I do what I do, yeah? And when you got to understand, yeah, I'm doing a book, yeah? So I hold a lot of things back. You know, I don't want to tell you everything it can be, because then the book's not a book, is it? You know, and I'm gonna do quite a few other things as well. And anyway, there'll be book signing, there'll be pictures, and yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, why not? Yeah, because this is going to be the best book around. Believe me, this is going to beat any book was around. I'm telling you, 100%. Yeah. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and thanks very much for listening. Bye bye.